Hi guys, it's Diana with How to Succulents. In our last video in Basics in Succulent Care, we talked about types of pots, drainage holes, soil, and how to pot up a succulent. Today I want to talk to you guys about water. So one of my favorite tools to use is a moisture meter. This one actually has a meter for light and pH as well. But if you look, it'll tell you, if we can focus it here, if the soil is dry or wet. So if it's dry or just about dry, you can water again. If it's wet, you want to hold off. So to use this, what you do is stick the prongs at the end down into the soil. So if you've got rocks in your soil, you can kind of move them away so that you can stick the prongs in, or sometimes I just do it anyway. Okay, so you want to get down kind of low, not all the way down to the bottom of the pot, but pretty close. And we can see here that we're pretty dry. So we're going to go ahead and water this succulent arrangement. Okay, so to water, remember drainage is key, but we just want to make sure that you get all the soil wet. And water enough, be generous enough with your water that it comes out of the drainage hole at the bottom. So if you can see here, it's starting to drain out of my pot. Another reason why I love concrete and terracotta so much is that it really wicks away the moisture. So not only will it come out the bottom of the pot, but it'll come out the sides too. So you really want fast draining soil, and you want the roots to be able to dry out. So you don't have to test it with a moisture meter after you water it. This is just more to show you guys that this actually works. So after we watered the succulent, if we check in again, it's showing wet, which is great. And you can also see that this concrete pot is starting to kind of sweat and wick away that excess moisture. So I'm asked a lot about how frequently I water. It really depends on your own special circumstance, what part of the world you're in, how humid it is, how dry it is, how frequently it rains. All of those things play a part in how frequently you should water. So for me, where I live, my outdoor succulents in the summer, typically in July, they get a lot of rainwater, so I'm like a weatherman, and I make sure that I'm covering them up if there's consistent days of water. But other than that, I might, check them every week and a half, 2 weeks, and if it hasn't rained, just naturally I'll water them at that point. So just kind of pay attention to what Mother Nature's doing to your succulents, and then this moisture meter is really a great tool. I really recommend that everybody get one, just so you can see what's going on kind of below the surface. The worst thing you want to do is just water just because most people kill their succulents by overwatering. For my indoor succulents, I water them a lot less. They're not as exposed to the elements. They don't have that aeration and the heat that really dries out the outdoor succulents a lot faster. So in the summer when they're growing, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. So if we use tap water, one of the things that can happen is minerals can build up in the soil, and that ultimately isn't good for your succulent. So if you can avoid it, use rainwater is actually the best, and second best would be distilled water. One of the ways that you can kind of tell that minerals are building up is that you'll get kind of a white, funky, crusty thing on the outside of your pots. And then also, if you accidentally splash your leaves and water sits on them, these kind of water spots can happen. So I've got a video about what to do with that, but basically taking a Q-tip and sticking it in milk and kind of scrubbing it off is your best option to try to get rid of those water stains. Another thing to keep in mind is pot size. So if we've got bigger pots like this agave, it will need more water when you water it so that it gets down at the bottom, but you'll need to do it less frequently, okay? So something small like this little guy here, he'll need less water, but more frequently, if that makes sense. So he'll dry out a lot faster than that bigger pot there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Join me for my next one, part 3. We're going to talk about light, which is a great topic when it comes to succulents. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and if you have any questions, list them below. Thanks, guys. Another thing to keep in mind is pot size. My dog wants to get in on the shot. Bree Bree. Okay, move it. Move it. Bree Bree. Okay.